What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action, sporting in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Thor Sigma, but he's also known as HellsRavage. HellsRavage. The great HellsRavage, the mighty HellsRavage, they're playing as Zeus. HellsRavage, they've been playing this game since before you were born, possibly. Probably not. I think most of you guys are 25 plus. That's what my analytics say. And funnily enough, my analytics also say that only 50% of you guys are subscribed on YouTube. I've never done this before, but hit the subscribe button. We could make our way to 30K. That'd be fucking sick. Anyways, the map is Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon, that's not what the map is. The map is Painted Desert. For those of you who are new to this game and don't know what the differences are with these maps, well, Painted Desert has a very unique design in that it's got these palm trees on the edge of the map with water on the sides as well. If you take a look, it's kind of like a mini Anatolia, except instead of it being fish there's no fish. And so all the wood ends up being on the outsides of the map instead of spread out throughout the middle of the map. What this means is that we get a very, very open map with just like these little bits of cliff that you can use to create some choke points and some walls. But for the most part, it's an incredibly open map with all of the food being super in the middle, super open, super easy to raid, super hard to secure. And what that means is it becomes a really, really aggressive map, super classical age focused for a lot of the matchups. Now, and the other part of this map, which is relatively unique, is that you do get gold mines that are back. These are technically back gold mines. Secondary gold mines, you get 2 back gold mines, and then you get a couple in the middle. And in this map, we've got only 2 in the middle and 2 technically back gold mines here. But yeah, so it's this incredibly aggressive map. We do have Kimo playing as Ra here, and he does go for the early hunting dogs. So we'll see how this game's going to go for Kimo. He's been having some really, really interesting games of late, and I feel like what Kimo's been doing is he's been playing into the defensive nature incredibly hard for Ra. So he's been really happy trying to play defensive and trying to not lose and trying to find wins by playing the late game at a higher level than his opponent. So we'll see if he's going to continue to do that here. He is against HellsRavage, and HellsRavage, as far as I'm concerned, he's known for being fairly aggressive and kind of not. I would say he's good at RTS, but he's not up to date with the meta in terms of like he doesn't care. He's just kind of playing for fun and kind of playing like the way that he always played. And in that regard, he's going to be having some issues dealing with some of the new meta, the new play styles that certain players bring to the table and having some struggles there. But regardless, he's always going to be able to create some good games. As we see the temple going up, we're going to be seeing a 3:45 advance time here from our main man, HellsRavage. And Kimo, on the other hand, he is going for exactly the same advance time here, 3:45. So the actual amount of food that these guys had in the start of their base was only 600 food. So it becomes really, really tough for Egyptian and Zeus and Greek to get their advance times with a 600 food advance. So, I mean, we'll see what Kimo's going to be actually being able to do with this. Oftentimes, if you're going for a fast second town center, you need to have about 8 villages on gold when you're advancing. But if you have a couple more on gold beforehand, then you're going to be able to get that town center up easily. And Kimo definitely had a few gold villages gathering beforehand. So we'll see what's going to happen here. The Kotoska boss already checking out this town center. This is a very, very unique second town center in that it's almost as far away from his opponent's base as it possibly can be. As we see the Jason moving forward, the villagers coming in, and we do have a very, very terrifying Athena on the way for Mr. Thor Sigma here, Mr. HellsRavage, going to be taking this hunt away from his opponent, dropping 3 buildings down immediately here in an attempt to pressure this town center, stopping this gold mine from being grabbed. Correctly so, HellsRavage has identified that all the gold is on the side of the map. There's a gold mine over here that he can wall off, and then this gold mine is going to be very easy to defend. Now, Kimo, we'll see what he's going to do here, but he sees the Athena, and with his spidey senses, he is deciding to stay one town center. This is a incredibly safe way to play this matchup when you see Athena, and I would say is the correct way to counter the Athena rush. It's to not go for your second town center, and it's to get your fast heroic in, and then you're going to be a happy human, as we see a happy Ra player, as we see the 12 farms being thrown down here by Kimo. The reason for this is the amount of damage you can do early with the Athena rush is relatively that's a stable, and that's a town center. And HellsRavage, I don't know if Kimo even spotted this, but HellsRavage has faked the Athena rush up the wazoo, and instead is going to be going for early Hippocon on the forward base here. This is incredibly aggressive and incredibly greedy. Kimo should have no troubles getting an army out and being able to push this back. So let's talk a little bit about things that Ra can do and things that you need to be able to overcome in order to get a gold staff on Ra. So off of 1 gold mine, that's 3,000 medium gold, a Ra player can do a fast heroic, get their Migdol stronghold up, get their farms up, and get out a 115 population army with some technologies. So that's with, like, say heavy cavalry, without needing a second gold mine. And I'll explain how this is done. All you do is, once the gold mine is expired, you move on to wood, you have your market thrown out, you sell wood, you continue to produce your cavalry. You can easily get there. It's going to be relatively efficient to do so. You're getting 70 gold at the start-ish on the 100 wood, and then that's going to slowly deplete and get less and less efficient, and eventually it's not going to be worthwhile investment in your villages, and your opponent's going to pull ahead. But besides the point, you're going to get the resources to push out, you're going to be able to move your villages out as well and get that gold mine. It's really, really hard to get that gold stuff. So if it's the case that that's possible, how is HellsRavage going to manage this situation? Well, he's going to get himself his Hippocon out. The real thing that he needs is to either get himself copper mail, copper weapons, and medium cavalry. That's going to be roughly equal to heavy cavalry, and then he's going to be able to be okay here. We are seeing the cheeky Migdol stronghold in the line of sight, though, of HellsRavage. He hasn't noticed it just yet as his army is sitting back here. We've got double Minotaur already out here for Mr. HellsRavage, as we see Nimlot here being targeted down by the Katoskopos. The rest of these units going to come in. The villagers get pulled in here as well. The Rock going to drop that Patsukos there, immediately going to bolt the Patsukos, as it looks to me that the Migdol stronghold has been denied. The shifting sands here comes in too late from Kimo, not able to react in time, and Kimo has to pull back. Nice deny there from HellsRavage. But it's not the end of the game yet. Another Migdol going to get thrown down. That was maybe a waste of around 200 to 250 gold there from Kimo, and a shifting sands to boot here. But a waste of gold nonetheless, as now the Rock's going to be scouting around. The Pegasus is out. Oh, I love this Pegasus. This is actually a genius. Okay, he's not doing it. I was going to say this is a genius way to deal with the Rock. You can follow the Rock around with your Pegasus and then easily bring your Odysseus back to hit this one, react to where the Rock's going, and deal with it that way. But he didn't do it. He's just kind of leaving the Pegasus over that gold mine, which is fair enough, but that's all he's going to be going for there, as some more military buildings coming down. We're seeing archery ranges coming out now for HellsRavage. Personally, I think this is a bad play. I don't think you want to be making archery ranges here. If you're scared of the cavalry and you don't want to go for your upgraded Hippocon idea, get Hoplite out. and try and take good fights with the hoplite to deal with those cavalry chariot archers that are coming your way. As Kimo's being a little bit too aggressive here, moving out with his very few amount of units here. Gets a couple of knocks in, retreats, knocks in, retreats. There's the Wadjet coming through here as the Odysseus going to come in and snipe down said rock here, but the Wadjet will get a couple of kills and the villagers will get taken down. That's if I'm HellsRavage, I'm happy. I lost 4 villagers, I killed off the rock, killed off the Wadjet, and there's no Locust remaining. That is a good situation to be in for HellsRavages. Kimo is now going to be looking for some raids here. You do not want to raid with chariot archers. I can't stress this enough. Chariot archers are not a raiding unit. They seem like a raiding unit. They're beautiful when they actually work. But if your opponent is on top of it, they can chase you down and get good damage done, especially if you can get yourself the Spirited Charge upgrade. As we see another Minotaur coming out here from HellsRavage. A very, very unique idea here. I haven't seen Minotaur being made. I would have liked to potentially see Bull Minotaur if he was going to make more than one here. And then he could make even more beyond that, but he's decided to not go for that. Still spamming out the units. He's at 120 of 130 resources. The gold mine is about to expire here for Kimo. I'm sure, yep, 60 gold left. And Kimo's at that 75 population. He can still sell wood. He's got himself a market. He can still sell that wood and be okay here. He doesn't need to go for a gold mine. He's trying to get this town center up, but it's already walled in, though he can sneak around this location and get it up, and that might not be spotted by HellsRavage. It's going to be very, very sneaky here. These villagers are going to auto path this, and let's take a quick look at what HellsRavage is going to see. He can see all of this line of sight, but if the villagers don't go in there, it's going to be an interesting one. The villagers pop by. They just pop barely into line of sight for a second. But Kimo says, I'm going after this gate. He's going to give it away. He could have snuck in and grabbed this one. The house would have actually spotted it though. But the walls go down. The cavalry are chasing this one. And does he react? He's not reacting. He's not moving over to this location. We see one Hippocon over here. Just the one Hippocon. Kimo getting himself the town center here, and that's going to give him access to this gold mine that he doesn't even know exists. This is the riskiest move that Kimo's ever pulled. This town center nets him next to nothing at this point, and that he knows about, but there is a gold mine here that he's going to be able to grab. This one lone Hippocon going to be going down the cavalry over here to defend, and this raid here that Kimo has done has given Kimo enough time to distract. And now with the town center up, Kimo's going to be able to grab this gold mine. He's going to be very happy about that. He did have plans to jump onto the wood line there and sell resources for a bit, but now we see Apollo coming in for HellsRavage. He's already got the armor up. Does he have some armory upgrades? No armory upgrades. I would love to see Pierce armor here. 100% Pierce armor to deal with those chariot archers would be great to give him a bit of a bonus there. Give himself copper mail as well and immediately get himself the heavy cavalry to push in onto this position. Right now, Kimo does not have himself Skin of the Rhino. Is it coming through? He's got it queued up as he realizes how important that one's going to be as the villagers are going to start getting taken down. The Pharaoh over here will be able to start dealing with these Minotaur quite nicely though, but the Toxotes are here to try and take that one down. Nice garrison micro there from Kimo. The restoration getting used onto this fight here to push in nice and early. The Pharaoh does jump in and out of that town center very nicely here. Apollo comes through. And HellsRavage retreating. Let's take a quick look at what the resources are coming in. We're going to see the market coming down here for, where was it? I saw it. It's somewhere. The market coming down immediately here for HellsRavage. So he's not opting for those upgrades in the Heroic Age. Instead, maybe going to think about going Hera here for an incredibly strong Lightning Storm timing push here that's going to be able to completely wipe out the entirety of the army that Kimo has made. This is a beautiful idea which HellsRavage is coming up with, but right now he's taking the fight too early. He doesn't need to take this fight. The Manticore going to help out a ton here, but these unupgraded Hippocon, or I say medium Hippocon, do not cut the mustard against the Ra Cavalry. These Ra Cavalry, you have to imagine, are already heavy cavalry because they get this upgrade here, plus 27.5 hit points, plus 6.6 speed. It's crazy amounts of bonus that they get. You can see how much HP some of these have got left that probably would have died if they were normal cavalry here. That's why you need those extra upgrades against Ra, as now the cavalry sneaking around. We are seeing Prodromus coming out to deal with these cavalry. That's going to be a nice unit to be built here, as I'm sure the villagers coming back onto this gold mine. We see a barracks getting built down here as HellsRavage's villagers now under fire. Prodromus, get after these bad boys. as he's going to come in and try and deal with them nicely here. Huge amounts of damage that Prodromus actually do to cavalry. That's the big special thing that they need. We see this house going to be getting taken out as the chariot archers moving forward here. We see HellsRavage moving in onto this position as the chariot archers swinging around here. We'll see what he's going to be able to do. As we see them just high-fiving each other. The villagers going to get caught out here. That's 5 villagers, but remember, HellsRavage has been on 2 town centers for the entirety of this game. That's going to be more than enough here. We see a handful of units moving over here. The Minotaur going to be able to do nice things onto those spearmen. They actually do 1-hit spearmen here as the lightning storm can get dropped onto this position, hit all of those villages, kill off all those units. We see the underworld passage coming over here from this location to this location in order to secure all of the gold on this map. We see 1 spearman going down. Both Minotaur have fallen now, though, as the priest and the pharaoh, the pharaoh goes down, but the priest is still here to help out. We are not going to be seeing that lightning storm just yet. We are seeing the chariot archers helping out on this position over here as the Toxotes coming through here to try and take out these chariot archers. The villagers haven't made their way over onto that location just yet. Villagers coming through here to try and shank away as HellsRavage is going to pull back. But now we see the scariest unit coming through for HellsRavage. The Bellerophon is on the way. The Toxotes popping through here, going to be taking out these villagers incredibly fast as the villagers trying to shank this down. They're not going to be enough here. You could also throw that lightning storm down if you're a little bit unsure, but Hells says, no, I'm sure. Now the chariot archers moving through. You can actually deal with an entire lot of chariot archers with just Bellerophon. He is that bonkers good. Even more bonkers good on extended edition with the 5-second recharge time. But now these units looking for a raid up on this location. There's a beautiful town center that they can hide in though, so it's not going to do all too much damage. And the villagers are over here as well, as we're still seeing this Bellerophon jumping in and out, getting good damage done. We see the priest going after the Manticore here. We've also got the Medusa in on this position. Lightning Storm could just take down all of these units if he so chooses. We don't have ourselves a fortress up just yet for HellsRavage. He's just going to continue spamming units in onto this position. He could build that fortress now, start getting Heliopoli as the Bellerophon pulling back. The other thing that he can also get is a forward temple, get Temple of Healing, heal up his Bellerophon, feel happy about that, but still not able to quite kill off Kimo. Kimo here, what's he doing? As we do see the lightning storm coming in, you cannot garrison chariot archers into the town center. That is one of their weaknesses. Kimo still hasn't set up his market just yet. He's got tons of resources in the bank, but he has to sell those to get gold in order to rebuild his rebuild his units here. As it looks like Kimo is now down to 93 of 130 population. A storehouse randomly getting thrown down on this position here by HellsRavage as he is getting himself fortified town centers as well. The units still looking for raids over here as the villagers kind of out of position. They get left alone for the time being, as now this gold mine is the gold mine of choice. Already a handful of units over here to defend this one, as the cavalry going to be coming in with the help of those chariot archers. These prodromas will be able to take out the cavalry, but not those chariot archers here. They're going to be able to clean up the rest of that one here, as we are seeing the Bellerophon looking over here saying, oh, is there anything over here? And the answer is actually no. He has gotten a pure gold staff here. One thing that Kimo could have actually set up by now, he's got 1,000 food in the bank, is a trade route. He could have had 10 caravans in, as the villagers going to be making their way over onto this location with the help of those chariot archers. Where's the rest of HellsRavage's units? They're out of position just a little bit. That Bellerophon will be a huge advantage on this position over here, as now it looks to me like this underworld passage may be able to go down. These units out of position. They're going to be making a dart for this underworld passage. Will they be here in time? Answer, yes, they will. The Odysseus immediately going to target down the Wadjet. The rest of the units come down, but the underworld passage will be getting taken out here, it seems. But there are already military buildings over here to help defend this one. The villagers going to be shanking down these Toxotes beautifully here. However, they are going to be losing their lives, and these Toxotes, they are very easily reproduced, whereas the villagers not so much here. Ladies and gentlemen, we see the Bellerophon coming back into this position. You can actually like one-shot villagers over here as well with the Medusa and the Bellerophon raids if you so choose. More units coming out, but it is looking like Kimo is just able to hold on here with his army just barely, but the villagers are mostly all picked off. We've got a ton of wood in the bank, still getting 44 gold per 100 wood at this point here, but Kimo's sitting solidly at 15 gold in the bank. As the raids coming back over here, HellsRavage garrisons into the town center, and he manages to take down all of these units over here beautifully, as it seems to me that Kimo's does not. Oh, he's now finally on the gold mine, but does he have enough steam left in the tank to continue here? Pull these villagers off. Get onto this gold mine. Pull these villagers off. Get onto this gold mine. Get all the gold back. Get everything you need. But the thing is here, that HellsRavage's economy is completely, I was going to say completely fine, but it looks just a little bit shot here. He's got no resources in the bank as he is throwing units away left, right, and center. He's in the middle of the map on these Rhinoceros. The Bellerophon coming in over here. We see the Medusa going to be helping out. You've got to be careful not to let that Bellerophon get surrounded by villagers there, as it's the big ticket unit that can take out all of these units. That Medusa is actually a big help here. Meanwhile, these raids still coming in, still hitting villagers, still doing tons of damage. On this position, we see the Bellerophon going to get taken down. You should not be losing this unit there, as it does get taken down. And Kimo, somehow, some way, is managing to fight his way back into this game here. HellsRavage, 88 of 140 population. The raid's too strong. Kimo, he's got 115 of 130 population, somehow, some way, managing to make this work. He gets all the villagers back onto this gold mine. He's got himself 29 villagers on gold. He's got himself shaft mines, so they're mining incredibly efficiently. Already 1,000 gold grabbed for Kimo, and Kimo is one happy camper now in this game, and what looked to be an incredibly won game here by HellsRavage has seemingly taken a turn for the worse here, as now we're seeing the cheeky garrison technique here, trying to get the units out in order to defend the chariot archer raids. Going to be moving back up onto this location, hitting this one over here. And somehow, some way, Kimo is making it work. He is an absolute magician of comebacks here. He's getting himself the third town center. He's still got an ability to go through to the Mythic Age through Osiris here. But now we're seeing the raids coming through these villages. Kimo can't take these hits at the moment. He's taken so many hits to his villages. We see the chariot archers coming back. They have themselves heavy chariot archers here, as they're going to start spraying down these Toxotes as best as they can. The village is going to be taken out. The Hippocon over here, as well as we see on this position, these chariot archers taking down villages. There's only a handful of Toxotes here, as HellsRavage is in absolute turmoil. He's still only 2 town centers. He's not able to get up to full population. The Minotaurs now starting to come out. The desperation Minotaurs starting to come out for HellsRavage. He's got lots of food in the back, not much gold. Would have been nicer to see Medusas or something here, but not able to do that. These Minotaur will be able to take out these chariot archers here. A little bit of a confused Minotaur. He just doesn't know how to headbutt there, but he does deal with it. And now the village is still completely fine. And now that Kimo is 3 town centers, all of the villager losses, they don't matter anymore. Kimo's going to get his villager population back up. He's going to be completely fine. He's going to be able to move in, grab this gold mine. HellsRavage needs to get himself 3 town centers and start thinking about how he's going to get to the late game here, because there is no way that he is going to be able to deal with what Kimo's doing. And we see the Peltas, the desperation Peltas. The Peltas are obviously a meme unit, but if your opponent is mass chariot archers, it's kind of the only time at which they are potentially a decent unit to be building. But even then, the chariot archers outrange the Peltas, and you can kind of snipe them down from afar here as we are seeing this Minotaur coming in. He realizes that these chariot archers are a little bit too strong for him, and he's going to be running away here. As now these wood villagers over here have been spotted. The wood villagers getting pulled, going to start shanking down the chariot archers here as more units still pushing in onto this position. But guess what? The Kimo villagers shank harder and survive longer than the Greek villagers. And are these trades worth it? Answer, probably not for Hells. He needs to get himself that third town center. He just doesn't have the resources to do it, as it seems to me like Hells is just suffering a very, very slow and painful death, as he's just trying as he may to get as much damage done onto this location as he possibly can. The Wadget going to be dealing with these units as well. The Hippocon retreating away. The Minotaur moving in onto this position. We see the chariot archers swinging around here, going to look to take down these villagers over here as well. There's just so many weaknesses in HellsRavage's position as the first time in this game, Kimo has taken the score lead here. The Minotaur coming in to try and help defend this one. More Peltas coming out, but the Peltas, they're going to get dealt with by Spearmen in a big way, and the Chariot Archers as well can deal with these completely fine. More units coming over here, but they're now having to garrison yet again as Hells has got nothing. He's got nothing left in the tank here. A barracks coming down for Kimo. We're getting spearmen coming out to deal with those stables. We've got the archery rangers getting taken down slowly. A siege works wouldn't be a bad idea here for Kimo to finish off these buildings, take himself his position over here. We see the walls up for Kimo as well as the Peltas going to be dealing with these laborer. This laborer over here as it's retreating away, and now Kimo ready to start pushing out the Peltast. The Peltast are here, and both units just going to high-five each other here for the time being. But even at that point-blank range, these Chariot Archers are still going to be able to deal with these guys pretty easily because they've got the mass advantage here. We see the heavy Chariot's going to be able to deal with the Jason as well onto this position here. More Peltast getting dealt with over here. And more buildings over here for Hells. He's getting more villages out. He's finished up this gold mine. He's over here on this gold mine. Remember, we did note that there were only 3 gold mines total. And now, look at this. We've got Kimo. He is ready to go full Kimo style. Get the markets up. Spam that trade route. And get going in this game into the skyrocketing into the late game is his plan right now. Plenty of villages. 25, 25, 25. The perfect balance. The perfect balance of villages have been achieved for Kimo, and you compare that over here to HellsRavage. He's also at 80 villages. Both players look like they're roughly at 80 villages here. So even though Kimo has managed to find himself in a position that he's okay, the game is not over just yet, ladies and gentlemen. The game has only just begun, making our way into what could potentially be an incredibly late game. An incredible late game here if Hells can get his town center here and be set up. Remember, Hells does basically have his town center in population. It's only 5 difference to what Kimo's now got himself fortified town center, but it was only 5 difference for a long time there as the siege work's going to be coming up. These Peltas doing some good damage. The Wadjet actually helping out big time here. Surely Kimo has to be thinking about Mythic Age soon, but he's actually going for the Mercenary Cavalry and getting himself Medjay here. If you get Medjay mid-Mercenary Cavalry lifespan, the Mercenary Cavalry's lifespan gets reset. As you can see, this one here is going down, down, down. Prices are down and back up to full lifespan. It's a little trick you can do that the deathmatch players do in the early game with their Egyptians in order to get the Mercenary to fight right in the middle of the map with all the lifespan in the world here. And we are seeing that the town center for Hells is now going to be coming up. Hells he's got his upgrades slowly coming in. I guess these Peltas need to be microed incredibly well in these fights for them to be useful. You can see the Mercenary Cavalry will tank down these Peltas. The Peltas effectively do 1 damage per second against the Mercenary Cavalry. So it's absolute waste to have them there, as now we see, good micro yet again. You can kind of shift click this like this if you want. You don't have to completely do it all, but you should get a little bit in here as we are seeing the Chariot Archers moving back in onto this corner, going to be hitting the wood villages yet again as we see another Odysseus coming out here for HellsRavage over here. The rest of these buildings getting taken down. No market up just yet here, as this gold mine could be the end of the game here for HellsRavage, because he doesn't have a trade route set up. He's only got 4,000 gold left. His market he hasn't even thought about starting the trade. He needs to start the trade like a minute or 2 ago here. He's got 1,000 food in the bank. He doesn't have the production to keep up the spam. He's now got himself heavy Hippocon. The Hippocon have got themselves just 1 upgrade or 1 line of upgrades in Pierce armor, and these Chariot Archers are still going to go to town on onto HellsRavage's army here as the mercenary cavalry still coming in for Kimo. He's still making them. He's not making the trade anymore. It's a little bit surprising. Normally we see Kimo going full mass, but I think what Kimo sees this gold mine. It's the last gold mine which HellsRavage has got, and if he continues to put pressure on here with upgrades and everything else, he should be okay to win this game. That's exactly why he's spamming mercenary cavalry here. And then there's the tap out from HellsRavage. Kimo, too strong, too solid, too defensive, and HellsRavage, while it looked like he had that gold staff, he killed off so many villagers, it looked like he had that gold staff, he just did not quite get enough value from his lightning storm here in this game to end it where it was all said, when it was all said and done. Funnily enough, it might have been better here to simply just go for Phaistos instead of the lightning storm and take the upgrade route in order to try and get the gold star rather than relying on that lightning storm. Who knows, really, maybe holding on the lightning storm a little bit longer for when this attack happened on the underworld could have been another idea. But in the end here, Hells just couldn't recoup after he felt like he'd won. He couldn't recoup and get to the late game and see where this game potentially could have gone. Kimo, he's the best for a reason, or one of the best for the reason, and he definitely showed it here in this game. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.